I think our community, um, I think, okay, I think a lot of the people where we're from are handed a lot of what they have, it just sort
Sure.
of like is handed to them from their parents, or I don't know. There's resources abundant. It's a pretty wealthy neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's also pretty conservative in OC, and like, you know, um there's ideas on how a woman should dress and how a woman should treat her body, use her body. And
Yeah.
I was taught to be think my shoulders were shameful
Wow.
as of the age like 13.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I used to get in trouble in high school, because you could see like this. Like
Really?
you could see a strap,
From
or you
school?
can, yeah, you couldn't,
Wow.
I couldn't have bare shoulders in high school. We would get dress code. And like,
It's pretty wild.
yeah, and I've like since then I've met so many strong women, smart women,
Mm-hmm.
and I've learned so much about how we should never be ashamed of our bodies. We should never be ashamed about what our bodies need, what our bodies want. And like a whole nother subject, like the way so many of my friends from high school have come out to me now, because in high school they were not allowed to tell anybody who they loved because
Hmm.
of where we grew up. It was like
Very taboo to be gay.
extreme. And then I'm very outspoken on like all my social media platforms. I'm very
Yeah.
loud about how I don't um believe in uh, being told to be anything other than like what you are, and I don't think you should have shame for who you love or what you want to do with your body. And I think so many people from college who I used to be friends with have come to me, or for so many people from high school have come to me now, feeling like now I'm like the only safe space they have to come out to,
Hmm.
which is sad, but also glad I can be there for them.
Yeah. I love that about you. I love that you put that out there. And I think that's good. That's a compliment to who you are, that people are willing to come out and talk to you about it, and they're maybe not willing to talk
I'm,
to their parents or their certain
yeah,
friends. And that's a huge compliment, you know?
I'm honored. I'm very honored.
Yeah.
I love to be here for people who feel like the world has told them they can't be who they are.
Mm.
As long as you're not hurting yourself or anyone else, be yourself. As long as you're not hurting someone or hurting yourself, do whatever you want.
I
That's
totally agree. I totally agree.
what
As
I
long as there's
found.
no negative externalities, there's no, yeah, you're
Yeah.
not hurting anyone. Like
Yeah.
it should be pretty free reign.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I agree. Orange County, it's a bubble, conservative bubble. And I mean, now we've spent time in other places where it's the opposite. And it's, yeah, it's interesting. I think when you kind of compress someone into that box and you tell them you have to behave in a certain way, it just like inevitably leads them to go and explode. Like for me, when I grew up in that church bubble, it was like, it was no drinking. It was like none level behavior for me through high school. And then in college, I just went ham for the first couple of years because I'm on my own. I can drink, I can go to parties, so on and so forth. And so,
Well,
um,
that structure can be good for a lot of people. And
yeah,
like, I don't, like I said, I really mean it when I say I don't judge. I really mean like, I don't even judge if you want to be a conservative. I don't judge conservatives. I don't judge progressives. Like, if you want to go to a strict church, if you want to have these rules and not be allowed to drink, and if you want to be a nun, like, you're not really hurting anyone. You might be hurting
right.
yourself, but if you're happy, I don't judge. You know what I mean?
Totally. I think it's not acting like that that's bad, or like choosing to live your life in a certain way that's bad. It's just when you feel a ton of social pressure to conform to that, that's bad. And you don't have that kind of free thinking that you were talking about, where
Yeah.
you just, okay, all the people around me are acting like this, so I have to act like this. And if I act kind of out of line, then people are going to tell me to get back in my own lane and act like that's the bad part. And like
Yeah.
that's the part that I think, like, I was probably acting very phony because I wanted to conform to that kind of rigid lifestyle. And then once I was able to step back from it and get some perspective, I was like, that's definitely not who I am. Like it took me a while to kind of be at peace with me not being that person.
Yeah.
But it feels much better. Like thinking about these big questions. We are getting into it right off the bat, like religion or whatever. Um, all of these things that you think about, like those big questions. It's good coming at it from your own perspective and not just that group think of an area that you're from, or group of friends that you're from. It's like when you have that calm time to reflect on it and think about it, it's helpful, I think. Yeah.